Some truly huge news is brewing behind closed doors that nobody is talking about, as a large investment bank that owns one of the largest and most widely used trading platforms on planet Earth, E-Trade, is now going to offer crypto trading on their platform, which is going to set the stage for true institutional adoption and offer it at a mass scale to virtually all retailers nationally, while at the same time Solana and XRP are first in line, as the SEC is now fast tracking altcoin ETFs, which means not only are we going to get institutional adoption through ETFs, but retailers are now going to be able to purchase large cryptos like Solana and XRP through a platform like E-Trade. And what makes this more exciting is that now a lot of fund managers and retirement account planners are going to feel confident and comfortable recommending assets like Solana and XRP because they will have clear regulatory approval. Now, what makes a deal this important for the crypto space is the fact that Morgan Stanley acquired E-Trade for $13 billion back in October of 2020. I'm assuming this platform has grown a lot since then, considering E-Trade and Robinhood are arguably the biggest platforms that offer trading for retail customers to manage their own wealth. And although $13 billion doesn't sound like much these days, you have to remember, to acquire any company, that is a tremendous sum of capital. Considering Ripple acquired Hidden Road for $1.5 billion, and that was the biggest acquisition of its kind in crypto history. Now, when they acquired E-Trade, they also acquired 8.2 million client accounts, which brought their total wealth management assets under management to $3.3 to $4 trillion, and E-Trade drove much of the self-directed segment. And when you have a major backer like Morgan Stanley behind something, they can toss a lot of capital, or basically reallocate or incentivize clients to allocate capital into something like E-Trade. In the case of Q4 in 2023 alone, they added another $48 billion into E-Trade. And again, this is in 2023, which means as they open the corridor for crypto to live on their platform, much of this wealth and money is going to find its way into cryptos, because we're getting to a point where we're going to have not only clarity from a market structure bill likely by the end of the year, but virtually every governmental body or regulatory agency is behind it, as the SEC Gov has announced the agenda and panelists for its joint roundtable with the CFTC on Monday. And we have some absolutely tremendous giants in the space, like Jeff Spercher from the NYSE and ICE, Terry Duffy from CME Group, and Adina Friedman from the NASDAQ, alongside top crypto and prediction platforms like Kraken FX, Polymarket, Kalshi, and the list goes on. So you have some of the largest names in all of TradFi, or traditional finance, backing clarity surrounding crypto, and you even had the CME this last month stating that they hit a record of $36 billion in open interest for crypto futures and options. And much of that growth was in these newer products like XRP and Solana, hitting new all-time highs. And the partnerships for something like Ripple just do not stop coming, as HSBC is rolling out a cross-border tokenized deposit, starting with Ant International. Now, what makes this huge is the fact that they've already teamed up with a Ripple-owned company called Medico. And yes, Ripple is a majority owner in Medico if they do not already own them outright. As back in May, Ripple paid a $250 million in order to acquire Medico. Ripple continues to build out its business model through major partnerships with HSBC. Why? Because Ripple-owned company Medico is involved in it. And just in the United States, HSBC has over $250 billion in assets under management with 400K customers. While a major investment bank like Morgan Stanley has far more, you still have to service the whole and not parts. Virtually all players should have access to crypto, which is exactly what Morgan Stanley plans to do through E-Trade because the Trump administration has had a supportive stance on crypto assets and regulatory clarity. Now, when we look at E-Trade, they are a rival to Robinhood, and Robinhood has also been moving heavy on crypto adoption, which we'll cover here in a second. But this is going to be huge because when you take all three of these giants like E-Trade, Robinhood, and now Charles Schwab, which still provides investors access to their ETF tides to Bitcoin and Ethereum, this is going to expand to, guess what? Other ETFs like Solana and XRP when they are approved this year. Either way, this is very recent news that in the first half of next year, 2026, through a partnership with Zero Hash, which is an infrastructure provider, they are going to launch to E-Trade clients the ability to trade Bitcoin as well as Ethereum and Solana. And by the way, if XRP gets an ETF, it's highly likely they're also going to get an XRP token available on their exchange, which opens up the corridors to many more trillions of dollars in assets just from Morgan Stanley alone. So the fact that they didn't mention XRP here doesn't really affect my opinion. I mean, at the end of the day, this article, even on Reuters, looks like they got a spacing wrong after the comma. But they're going to offer anything that has an ETF to all of their clients. And yes, XRP is going to get an ETF if Solana does. And so it's not a question of if, but when, as all of these major banks, institutions, and even retail trading platforms are going to offer crypto to everyone. Everyone's going to want a piece of this very large pie, which is going to continue to grow because we also have here coming up on September 29th, a round table to harmonize efforts around regulatory clarity. We're going to have the SEC chairman. We're going to have the chairman of the CFTC, Caroline Pham. We're going to have an SEC commissioner, and we're going to have virtually all of the major giants in TradFi alongside a lot of key players from crypto companies like Kraken or Crypto.com, Jump Trading Group, and all of these other ETF issuers for something like an XRP ETF like Wisdom Tree. We're also even going to have Robinhood there. And what makes this extra cool is the fact that Robinhood is one of the largest trading platforms for trading and stocks, and eventually probably crypto alongside something like Coinbase. And Vlad Tenev is extremely pro crypto. So this is going to be one of the coolest events for the future and growth of the entire industry. And a lot of that money is going to flow into the best and key players, which leads me to believe that XRP is probably going to hit probably about 8% of market dominance into the tune of at least $10 trillion market cap in the entire crypto market this bull market cycle. But let's have a watch of what Vlad Tenev says.
I think it shows that this country is ready to take the lead globally with digital assets, and it should be in the lead. Digital assets, along with artificial intelligence, are the two frontier technologies that are not just going to shape the future of the financial industry, but the future of every industry. So we're really happy about this. We think, and we spoke about this last time from France, that connecting crypto technology to assets that have real world utility is how you actually unlock a tremendous amount of potential.